Now I don't want to skimp on too many details, but I do also need to keep this moving. I could probably do a full review and a full length review for each one of these flashlights, but obviously at this point I'm combining them all together, so I want to keep this moving. I have already opened this. I've charged up these batteries. Here I have this charger and battery combination. So just pulling out the contents of the box. Here I do have a full-size wall plug charger. Has LED lights and indicates the overall status of the batteries. 2 batteries that come with it. And here you have the 2 batteries. These are the same 3000 milliamp hour 3.7 volt lithium ion batteries, and the cool thing is they actually come in this nice little case. So dual purpose item. Not only are you able to obtain these batteries and get the charger, but I always find that having a nice case for my spare batteries is definitely a plus. So cool that it comes with this as well. Taking a look at the rest of this product, inside here basically just a quick little card that's asking to rate the item, so something I'll take a look at a little bit later, but pretty much at this point the main reason why I got into this, I need these batteries for the other 2 flashlights. So let's put this aside and get into these other flashlights. The next one I'm going to take a look at here is the TK15. So here we go, getting into this TK15. I've already opened up this product to take a look at the quality of the flashlight. I carried this a little bit, and this particular flashlight is even smaller than the last one, not by much, but by a tiny bit. Has some different features and different way of sort of operating, so I'll look at that for you. Unthreading this cap in a very similar way. We have the same threads front and back if you really wanted to reverse that pocket clip easily. And in fact, if you look closely, that's the only way you can do it. Threading this back on and inserting the battery. Get these just put back together, thread on the tail cap. Nice quality threads. Good quality machining, nice aluminum, excellent bezel on the front, nice lens. This does not have the orange peel, so it should be a little bit better of a thrower. This does not necessarily have the clicky on the tail switch, but on this side, rather on the side of the flashlight. And the additional contents inside the box, we have the manual and a couple of spare O-rings. So taking a look at the different modes, again, moonlight at 0.5, low at 50, mid at 200, high at 600, turbo at 1050, and this does have a strobe mode. So basically almost the exact same specifications as the VG15. So here you have the TK15 and here you have the VG15. I mean, very, very similar overall. I think before I said that this was a little bit smaller. I think at this point I'm going to take it back. These are almost identical in size. A little bit different in the lens. I mean, the bezel is the same and the LED is the same. Only you have the clicky tail cap on the VG with the orange peel lens, and then you have the side button and a smooth lens on this TK. So just giving you a real quick comparison between the TK15 and the VG15. First thing is this TK15 utilizes the XPL2 LED, whereas this VG15 uses the XML2 LED. So if I put these on a mode where you can see the difference in color, putting them side by side, you will see here that the TK15 is warmer than the VG15. Again, the difference between the XP and the XML2 LEDs. Now these two lights do function quite different. In order for me to get to the moonlight mode on the TK15, I have to long press that side switch, and you'll see that turns on and illuminates there. Whereas on the VG, I just press once. Now it does have memory to remember the last mode you were in. So in this case, I'll select back through, and that will put me again on that moonlight mode. Both of these flashlights right now are at 0.5 lumens. So you can see here that the TK15, because it has a little bit smoother of a lens, is more of a thrower, sends that beam further a little bit out, whereas the overall orange peel of the VG15 does not necessarily do so. So anyway, you can't see it quite as well here. It's not as tight a beam pattern. That's because it's spread out a little bit for you. But in my opinion, that 0.5 lumens is kind of useless either way. And actually, just to be a little more specific, I'm looking here and it says that the TK15 has a 0.5 lumen moonlight mode and the VG15 has a 0.5 lumen firefly mode. So I don't know if there's technically a difference between moonlight and firefly, but obviously with the beams here, you can see the beam on the TK where you can't on the VG. But basically, we've already covered that. So let's bump this up one setting. Now here you go. Side by side, you'll see each of these is now on the 50 lumen setting, so pretty similar in terms of overall beam intensity. And we'll continue to go up, so one more notch on each. Now these are both considered now to be at 200 lumens, so you'll see here the VG on the left and the TK on the right. Now going up one more mode, here you see these two beams. Now these are now considered to be on the high mode at 600 lumens. So that's your 600 lumen mode. Pretty nice output, even beam pattern, and very similar in terms of overall intensity between the two. Now moving on, here you have your turbo mode. Now here you have the VG on the left and the TK on the right. Now this is where there is a subtle difference. The VG on the left has a turbo mode of 1070 lumens and the TK on the right has a turbo mode of 1050 lumens. That's basically indistinguishable. You pretty much can't see that difference, but it is a subtle difference between the two. You can see both of which have a very nice beam pattern. Overall, you can just clearly see the difference between the cooler light of the VG and that warmer light of the TK. Just a slight difference in those LEDs. And bumping these back down to their moonlight and firefly modes. Now both of these do have a strobe function. So here you see the TK15 kind of does a multi-pattern strobe when you double press real quick, and then pressing one more time, it comes out of it. So again, just a double press gets you into that specialty strobe mode. Now on the VG, turning the light on, and a quick double momentary press, again gets you into that strobe mode. Now the VG has pretty much more of a straightforward strobe. It's just a standard blink. It does not have that sort of multi-pattern. And then if you half press again, you're off. So getting to that specialty mode is just a little bit difficult with that momentary press. It's not very fluid of an action, and it's very easy when you go to double press it to accidentally click it off. So anyway, not a big deal, but just something worth noting. So here we have a look at the VG15S. This is in the turbo mode. It has a very nice overall beam pattern. You can see that hot spot as it illuminates my fire pit down there. And then a nice amount of flood just off to the sides. So a very nice overall beam. Very similar with the TK. There you have that central hot spot and then the flood off to the sides. So very nice. Now let's compare the two side by side. You can see the TK is just a touch warmer than the VG, both of which have a nice overall beam, a little more natural looking with the TK, a little cooler looking with the VG. Now your eyes can trick you into thinking that the cool light is a little bit brighter. It's not really a brightness thing, it's just kind of overall maybe a clarity thing. So it's really a personal preference thing, which one you prefer. Both are pretty nice and suitable for me. I think in general I'm sort of liking the cooler light, but I overall like the functions and the ability to operate the TK better than the VG. Now in terms of some of the other modes, you literally can't even see this, but I am totally illuminating my fire pit right now on Firefly mode with the TK. Now I'll bump it up one notch. That's your 50 lumen output. You can kind of see there. Going up another, that's your 200, your 600, and your 1050 turbo mode. So again, going all the way down, this is your 50 lumen mode. It is a reasonable amount of light. It's actually about perfect for just little standard tasks, like if this was around a campsite and you just kind of didn't want to totally blind yourself and see what was going on. This 50 lumen output is super nice. Now going back to the 200, that's a ample amount of light for pretty much anything. I mean, you could even do a little bit of searching around and looking for different things and sort of beaming off in the distance. It's not enough to totally kill your eyesight, but it is definitely starting to get quite bright. 600, good amount of throw, super bright amount of light, and then again that 1050 on turbo mode is just totally crushing it. So nice output for such a small light. Now back to the VG. Here's your turbo mode, bumping it down. Now this is right now in the moonlight mode at 0.5 lumens. Pretty much useless. It doesn't do really any good for anything unless you really want to look at something like really close up. I mean, you can barely even see my hand. You can see like my ring there. It's just an example of like how little you really can see. But with a click, you're getting up into that 50 lumen range on low. You can kind of start to see things. Now I feel as though the 50 lumens was easier to see with the TK versus this VG, but still the ability to kind of do your general camp tasks, this isn't too bad. Kicking it up a notch, here you go on your medium mode. This is a 200 lumen output, again similar to the TK. This VG has the good amount of light to be able to do pretty much anything at this medium mode. So good amount of light, the ability to kind of start to search around and see what's going on. That's your 200 lumen output. Bumping it up now to the 600, this is your high mode. Good amount of throw, nice amount of light. Again, very similar to that TK, but does not seem to hurt my eyes or necessarily give me any sort of like night blindness. It's not quite bright enough to bother me, but again, a good amount of light for almost any task. And then kicking it up, here's your 1070 lumens, very bright, a good amount of throw, and now I'm really starting to light things up. And in terms of the overall throw distance, you can see way off there with this turbo mode. I mean, that's a pretty tall tree, reasonably far away, and this VG15 is doing a nice job lighting that thing up. The TK15 does a little bit better because it has that smooth bezel. You can see it has some more throw to it, ultimately lighting that tree up even a little bit more. It's doing a better job overall illuminating that subject. So now you have a comparison between this TK15 and this VG15S. Both nice compact flashlights, nice size, good quality, nice beam patterns. Overall, very nice for the money. You know, something just worth noting. So on this VG15S, a little bit clunky on the tail cap switch. I really wish it had a little bit better tactile means, like for example, you know, a momentary press when the thing is off just to kind of blip that light. And then also it's a little bit cumbersome doing that half press to get the different modes to switch. And now on the TK15, again, very nice. I very much like this, but the only thing that I can say is you need to be very careful. I have found that oftentimes I kind of lean on that button and find that ultimately this light is on in my pocket. So either twisting this tail cap around to the point where you can't accidentally depress it, or just quite simply being more careful and just, I don't know, paying attention and making sure it doesn't turn on. But I have found that on a number of occasions that I did find this light was on in my pocket. And so now, up next, we're going to take a look at this VG10S.